Hello and welcome to 6 Degrees of Feature Film. I am Diana Prince, also known as Brienne, also known as Miss Movies.
And I am Steppenwolf's weird hat, also known as
He has a
Stacey
hat?
His like horn hat
Okay.
thingies, whatever.
So-
I don't know what
I think
it's
that's
called.
his headpiece.
Headpiece. Sure.
But hey, guess who's here?
Yeah. Who?
Jared
Hey.
Haibon.
Haibon.
Yes, Jared Haibon, also known as Bruce Wayne. If we're calling ourselves different
Okay,
characters,
perfect.
I'm wearing Batman.
You
so
are
it
wearing
only makes
Batman.
sense.
Yeah,
I
for
am
sure.
wearing Wonder Woman. So
Yes.
hey, Stacy's got a sweater.
That's all I have.
It's a nice sweater.
It's very soft. Feel
Yeah,
it. Everyone feel it.
Oh,
Everyone
very
caress me.
nice.
Mm.
It's like a
Mhm.
sheep.
it's a
Yes.
great Thanksgiving
Mhm.
sweater.
It is. I have a very Thanksgiving outfit. I want to stand up and show everyone. This is what I call the grandmother's Thanksgiving outfit.
Grandmother's
Like
Thanksgiving.
I would wear
okay.
it. I have the opaque tights, and I've
Opaque.
got brown
Mhm.
boots.
Yep.
And
Okay.
it's tasteful and yet trendy, so I
Yes.
can wear it to
Mhm.
grandmother's house for Thanksgiving lunch because they can't do dinner because they're old because they're gonna fall asleep. So you have to do it at like 3 p.m. Everyone knows that. Okay,
Obviously.
That's kind of like Linner.
Linner.
Lunch, dinner.
Yeah, Linner.
Oh,
Linner.
okay. Yeah.
Linner. That's the
Mhm.
best.
That
and
is
then you
the
take
best.
a nap later, and you get up and you go out and you leave the old people at home. 'Cause
Exactly.
They can't party. Now.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like Thanksgiving dinner at like 6:37.
That's
I need it.
That's
It's
too
I
late.
don't think I've ever had it at 6:30 or 7.
Some of my
It's always
friends
been
do
2 or
that.
That's
3.
too late. No.
It's way
Always.
too late. That
Huh.
is like I'm in bed at 7 o'clock on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's the best sleep.
Yeah.
You get the
Best sleep there
tryptophan.
is.
You have to be in bed like way before all that
Yeah,
time, anyways.
that's
Totally.
true. That's
I mean,
true.
that's why it's the 3 o'clock.
Mhm.
That
But
makes
we're
the
not
most
talking about
sense.
Thanksgiving.
No.
We're talking
Could be.
about movies.
We're
today.
talking about movies. Here's how this show works. We're going to take one film and show how 6 other films link up to it in some random way, shape, or form. And our first film that we're going to do, which is our feature film, is what we like to call it, is Justice League, which came out this year. But before we do that, before we get into that, let's learn a little bit more about Jared. Jared, who are you?
Who
How do
am
we
I? That's a
know
great
you?
question.
Why
What
should
are
we care?
doing here?
I think I ask myself who am I every day. So I am long story short, I'm a huge fan of you guys, the Schmoes Know, Collider, Screen Junkies, everybody, like Real Rejects, Jeremy Johns, blah, 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 all the way down the line. And
Who
so-
isn't?
I know, obviously, duh. And so I've been a fan for many years. And long story short, I was on The Bachelorette a couple of years ago. And pretty much I only did it to meet everybody that I wanted to meet. I'm kidding. But I wish I didn't know it was going to lead that down that way. But I was on The
Uh-huh.
Bachelorette. I was on Bachelor in Paradise. And then one of the guys at Screen Junkies apparently is a big Bachelor fan. I got invited over
Got
there.
it.
I was able to get
Mm.
connected, went over there to like,
Cool.
do like a Bachelor interview. And then he was like, hey, and then he was like the last 5 minutes, because he knew I was a big Screen Junkies fan. He was like, hey, like, what do you want to talk about? Like, this is your moment. And I was like, this was right around the time when Batman v Superman came out.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I mean, let's talk about that. And so I talked about that for like 5 minutes and gave my thoughts on DC Universe and blah, 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 blah. So we left there. And he's like, wow, you kind of know what you're talking about. Why don't you come next week to the Star Wars movie fight? You can be on the fan cam. Christian Harloff is going to be there.
Oh.
And I was like,
You're
I-
like, what?
I was fanboying pretty hard at this
Mm.
point. And so actually this was on a Thursday, and I was flying back to Rhode Island because I live in Rhode Island on a Sunday. I was like, all right, I need to really figure something out. So I flew back to Rhode Island on Sunday, flew back to LA on Wednesday to be back for the Star Wars movie fight on
There-
Thursday.
that's how you do
Wow.
That's what you know. You got to do what you got to do.
it. Yeah.
And so I got to the Star Wars movie fight, and of course I see Christian Harloff, and I'm like, holy crap, I got to say something. And so I walk up to him, I'm like, hey, Christian, my name's Jared. I'm a big fan. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. I watched Bachelor in Paradise. I used to be a producer on the show. And I was
You're
like,
like,
holy crap.
"What?"
And
Mhm.
so
You're like, my mind is
it's
blown.
Mhm.
Mine
And
is
then I
blown.
learned that Rachel Cushing edited for it.
She's
Yes.
a story editor. Yeah.
She's
Mhm.
like, I've
Is
seen
that
your
what's called?
face many a time.
Mhm.
Oh my
Mhm.
god. And so like it was just it was
Circle of life,
it was
guys.
the circle of life. And
Mhm.
so it was pretty cool. And so he was like, yeah, why don't you come to Schmoes one time? We'll have you on. And so I went on Schmoes and met Mark and Josh McCouga and everybody else. And so I've been on a couple times, and then
Mhm.
you know, and then he was like, yeah, come to the Schmodown Spectacular. And that's when I met you two beautiful ladies. And
I
here
mean,
I am.
Here we are.
You've been invited to the Schmodown
Yes.
Spectacular because
Well,
that
not
hasn't
like-
happened yet.
No, I wasn't on the Schmodown
No.
Spectacular. No, I as
Right,
a
you were.
fan, I watched.
You are going to watch
Oh shit!
the
Yeah.
spectacular.
What day am I? Where
I
am
don't know.
Who am I again?
I don't know, but I do have
Oh,
a
he's from the
question.
future,
I have a
guys.
Yes,
question.
In the future,
Mm.
he has invited me
Yes.
to the
Yes.
Schmodown
That's right.
Spectacular,
Very
which
good.
hasn't happened yet.
No,
Nobody.
that's coming up.
It's coming up.
Here's a question I have for you. At what point in your life are you like, you know what? I think I want to be on The Bachelorette. And then how do you like do that audition? How does that work?
Oh, so I never saw the show before. A friend of mine
Mhm.
signed me up.
Oh, okay.
And so yeah, it worked
Awesome.
out. It worked out really perfectly. So she told me for years to apply to go on The Bachelor, and I never like could see myself going on a show like that, and more so like I never saw myself as a bachelor type.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so lo and behold, like one night I had this situation where like I s long story short, like I was going through this thing with an ex, and we've all been there.
Mhm.
And so my friend was kind of like upset about what was happening, and then just signed me up at a bar one night when we were all
Like out of
drinking
spite,
out
kind
of
of.
out of
She was
spite,
like,
yeah.
"Fuck
And
that
so
girl."
yeah, pretty much. And then she didn't even tell me she signed me up. And then a couple months later, I got a phone call from LA, and I don't know anybody from LA, so I didn't
Uh-huh.
pick up. And then 10 minutes later, I checked my phone, and my friend Crystal is blowing me up, and she's like, "Listen, the Bachelors called me. They tried to reach you. Like, just call them back." And so I called the number back. They left a voicemail, and it was like, "Hi, this is ABC's The Bachelorette. We're looking for Jared. We want to get to know you more." So I called them back, and they asked if I want to go through the casting process. I said, "Of course." Never really think I'd get on the show, and then step by step by step, I got on. It's
Wow.
yeah, I don't know how the hell I like I still question myself. I went to go they asked if they could come meet me in New York. So I drove to New York to go meet them, and I didn't know what to wear. And so they were like business casual, but I like always go
Like a blazer and
Yeah.
jeans.
I know. So of
Yeah,
course,
yeah, yeah.
what do? I show up in a full suit because I'm like my sister. I like my sister's words were always ingrained in me, and it was like dress for the job you want,
Not
for
the
the one
job
you
you
have.
have.
And
Yes.
so even though
Uh-huh.
this is not a job, I was like, I feel like I should. I don't want to like just dress up in jeans. Like I'll wear a suit. So I get there. I'm wearing a gray full suit, and I walk in, and it's the Roosevelt Hotel. So it was in this lobby, and
Mhm.
like I saw all these other dudes in like dark jeans and
Right.
vests, and I was like, oh
Mhm.
shit, I really overdressed. And so then, of course, what happens? There's a wedding at the hotel the same
Oh.
day, and guess what?
Oh.
All the groomsmen are wearing
The same suit as
gray
you.
suits. So I'm like,
You should
oh
have
That's
crashed that
god.
amazing.
wedding. Please tell me you crashed
I
that
did.
wedding.
I was like panicking to myself and sweating. I was like, they're gonna think I'm so stupid. Like
Could have
they're,
gotten
they're never
cake.
gonna want me.
It's fine.
I know, right? And so of course, like I saw the woman come down who was like coming to get the guys to go bring in for the interview. And like I saw her looking at me, but just like kind of like,
Did that guy come over from the
Is he-
And
wedding?
so like after
He
10
just
minutes,
wanders over to
seriously,
the
yeah.
Bachelor.
Yeah, is this where I sign up? And so finally she came over and she's like, "Are you Jared?" I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "Sorry, I thought you were part of the wedding." I was like, "No, I didn't know what to wear. Just all right."
Aw.
No, it worked out though, surprisingly somehow.
Yeah.
why they picked
Probably
you.
because you
I
wore a
guess.
suit. You were different than everyone else.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe.
kind of how it works. You gotta
Unexpectedly.
have there's gotta be a gimmick,
Yeah.
right?
I
like
guess,
they
right?
Gotta
say.
have a shtick or a thing.
You
Oh,
gotta
I
have a gimmick.
Do you know what my Do you know what my gimmick was coming out of
What?
a limo? Oh,
What?
it's so
I
bad.
have
I didn't.
not seen this.
So like
Yeah.
okay, so the first episode for the Bachelorette and the Bachelor, there's obviously one Bachelorette, and there's guys that come out, and they come out in limos, right? They pull up to the mansion,
Right.
you're in a limo. There's like 6 or 7 guys in each limo. Some guys have like a gimmick because you only meet the girl for like 5-10 minutes when you first introduce.
You have to
want
make
kind
an
of like
impression.
yeah, make an impression, make her laugh.
Yeah.
So so apparently one of the reasons why I kind of stood out in my casting process was that I am a huge Superman fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so they thought that was very interesting in the way I talked about Superman as a character.
Mm-hmm.
And so so I got out of the limo and I had a shirt made for me that was a blue shirt with the Superman symbol, but instead of an S,
It was a J.
it was an L,
Oh.
as in
As in love?
as in love. And
Oh,
my
okay.
so I didn't know how to play it off. I was
That's
like, what?
sweet.
I was like, I don't know what the hell to do.
Did
So
you like rip it open
well,
slowly?
they were like, yeah, why don't you like get on a limo and like rip open your shirt? And I was like, I can't do that. I cannot do
I'm
that.
a Superman for love.
I know. And like they were like, no, you can be Love Man and you're coming to rescue the Bachelorette from like all the other evil bachelors. And I'm like, I cannot do this. So I was like,
This is
okay.
amazing.
I know. So I was like, so I got a limo. And so I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? And so I walk up to her and I was like, oh, my name is Jared. Great to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, God, it's so stupid. But I was like, oh, I have this like alter ego. Like I have this different side of me, and then like I'm unbuttoning my shirt and she's like, what the hell is going on? And so I open up my shirt and I'm like, L for love. And I'm like, oh, I had this shirt made for me and it represents like, commitment.
The
and
House of
compassion.
L.
The House of L. Yes. It means hope. That's what I
Yeah.
should have said. And so but I said all this stupid stuff. I was like, oh, it stands for compassion and understanding and love and commitment, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, the good thing about this
Aw.
alter ego, it's not an alter ego. It's just the man that I try to be.
It's just me.
I don't know if it's, I didn't want to say that because that sounded like super cocky.
Because
But like, it's just me.
Superman's alter ego is Clark Kent.
Totally. And so
So,
yeah, and I
that's how that
resonate with
works.
Clark Kent far more than I resonate with Superman.
Do you
Mhm.
like plaid?
Ben has some thoughts that he'd like to share before we
What?
move
Oh,
on to
yes.
Justice
I love
League.
this.
I know.
I think
that's
you've
really
convinced me
sweet.
to watch this show.
Dude, I was like, I'm sweating honestly just thinking about it, like putting myself back in that moment when I realized, like, okay, I am going to open up my shirt on national television with an L underneath it. But at the same time, it truly was who I am. Like, I'm just I'm a geek. And
I'm just a
so, like,
boy standing in front of a girl with an
asking
L
with
on
an L
this
shirt.
Superman
yeah,
shirt.
you know.
Asking her to love me.
Oh God.
I think that's really sweet. And you know what? Like, there are not many people in the world that are willing to put themselves out there like that.
It's
and,
very true.
You know, like, you have to do something outrageous to find love in your life or to find success or anything. You have to risk it. So I think that that's great. I don't think it's embarrassing at all. I think that's really sweet.
Oh no, I'm not embarrassed by it, but certainly I still get anxiety thinking
Oh, yeah,
about it.
Sure.
Mhm.
But
How
it's
far
like,
did you get on that show?
I was fourth. So I was
Wow,
Yeah,
good job.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to look this up.
I was stunned at myself because I mean I got lucky in all honesty.
Mhm.
I'm surprised when I first got there I was like I'm gone night one because
Because Superman.
yeah,
I'm gonna blame him.
Love man and like
Love man.
you know I'm not short by any means but like these guys are like 6'3", 6'4", like
Ooh.
220 like bachelor guys and I'm like
Mhm.
I just do not fit in here. Like I want to go home and
You're
watch
like,
Superman.
I'm wearing a
Mhm.
suit at a wedding,
Yeah,
but not
yeah,
really
like,
at a
well,
wedding.
Yeah, I'm wearing a suit for casting when they told me we were jeans. This is not going to work out. And so, but I got lucky though. My bachelorette is just, or she is obviously an incredible human being, and she was the best bachelorette. She's super fun and low key, and she loves movie quotes.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
so
So
that's
that
where,
worked out.
like,
That
yeah.
worked
So
out.
one of the first dates, she quoted Anchorman, and I was like, I think we're gonna get along.
Did you
Just
throw
fine.
any quotes out there to try and
Oh,
woo her?
that was our bonding.
Oh,
And
what did
so-
you quote to her?
Usually, so she loved Dumb and Dumber and Anchorman, so quoted a lot of that, a lot of old Jim Carrey, Mass, Liar, Liar. You know, kept it very lighthearted. And but like even when we were leaving, when I didn't receive a rose,
Aw.
I know, so sad. But when I was leaving, it was very sad and emotional, and so like I looked at it and I was like, I hate goodbyes. And so it was
Oh.
kind of like a nice little moment.
Mhm.
One
Very
last little
nice.
quote. Anyway,
That's sweet. Oh,
Anyway,
anyway.
that was great, Jared. Thank you so
Thanks.
much for sharing.
Oh.
I love this. I'm gonna have to check out your season. Somehow I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna probably buy it on iTunes. Who
oh,
knows?
it's not
Who
worth your
knows?
money. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
oh,
No,
okay.
I'm kidding. It's
I'll
worth it. It's
stream
worth
it. I'll find it somewhere. I don't know.
Illegally download. We would never do
There's
that.
No.
that. Yeah. Let's get into our feature film,
Yes.
Perfect.
which is Justice League. Came out
Ta-da!
November 17th, 2017.
Mm.
We'll probably talk about this for maybe 10-ish minutes. So if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure you have seen it, and you don't want us to spoil it for you, then maybe you should come back in about 10 minutes.
Go get a
Maybe
cup of coffee.
About that
Perfect.
time. Yeah.
Go cook some ramen noodles, eat them, and then come back. That's a perfect amount of time.
So this is directed by Zack Snyder and then was taken over by Joss Whedon towards the end. I know that people are calling for they want Zack's cut because they feel like it was probably butchered. But basically, all the superheroes are coming together to take down Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what is he doing? He's not trying to get Infinity Stones because that's a different
No, we're getting-
franchise. He's trying to get all these boxes.
Mother
I don't know what's
boxes.
in the boxes.
He wants boxes to make Earth his world.
Got
and
it.
it'll transform it into his home world. And
Yeah.
then he'll have a home
Mm.
again.
It's
Why can't he
kinda-
just
And he
go
has a
home?
mom. He's like obsessed with his mom. There's a lot of mother.
Yeah,
daughter
it was
to
weird.
it.
Steppenwolf wasn't
Okay.
really like they didn't. Nobody knows his motivation except for that he attacked. Did he attack in that first open? Not no, but when like Wonder Woman is narrating when Steppenwolf was fighting against the Green Lanterns, and you know, what was he doing?
I think it's because he lost, so he's like bitter.
I guess
So
right.
now, thousands of
Hmm.
years later, he's come back to try and like reclaim, his homeworld again.
guess.
Because like when the box
Hmm.
comes together, it opens the portal and it makes Earth his homeworld. And I guess
Sure.
because he doesn't have a home, he like needs a home now, and his mother's imprisoned, and that's pretty sad.
Was that
but-
original battle on Earth? I don't
I
think,
think I think
it
I
had to have
don't
been
know.
right because they
I
said they
don't
gave
know.
one of the mother boxes to man, which
Yeah.
they buried. So why would man
Mm.
be there unless they were fighting on Earth?
Which, by the way, that was a total Lord of the Rings
Oh, yeah.
montage, where it was literally like 12 rings
Yeah.
were distributed. One
Yes.
to the Green Lanterns, one to men who buried it, which is just like throwing it in the fucking river or whatever
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
did
why
in
would you
Lord of the
bury it?
Rings.
Wouldn't you destroy it? Or can you
Yeah.
not, is it
I don't-
undestroyable?
I think it's
think it's-
undestroyable.
Yeah, I think it's
Indestructible?
indestructible.
Indestructible is definitely a word.
Undestroyable
you
is great a
guys.
word. I like it.
Undestroyable.
I like it, guys.
Hashtag that,
It
guys.
reminded me of the boxes from Hellraiser. You seen Hellraiser?
Yeah.
Pinhead.
Mhm.
I was just like, maybe we shouldn't open this, or maybe we should just like let this be. I don't know. He was opening it himself.
It was just
so.
I guess I don't know how the mother boxes works because like the way it called to Steppenwolf apparently when Superman died. That's what it said,
Mm.
right? It was like fine. The mother boxes.
It was like,
awoke
this is your
because a Kryptonian
moment.
died. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
He's
was like
gone.
It's your moment, girl.
so. Like, are the mother boxes immediate? Do they have like some sort of attachment to Steppenwolf? Like some sort of
I think they have
commitment?
attachment to each other because, like, when they were on
Yes.
Themyscira, the box was like buzzing,
yeah.
and they were in the room, and they were like, "Oh, it's awoken."
So
You know,
maybe
it's
the
like
maybe the mother boxes like called to each other and
Yeah.
Steppenwolf heard it because I don't think they really
Maybe.
described how Steppenwolf realized that the
I
mother
don't
boxes
know,
were awoken.
guys. I'm super confused about this. Can I
Me
also
too.
just say the whole like I want to conquer all worlds and conquer the universe? That's got to be so stressful. It didn't work out for Alexander or Napoleon and others
Mhm.
people that wanted everything to be one nation.
Sure.
It's too much to govern. It doesn't work. There's too much drama. Why does everyone want to like conquer the universe? Like I don't want to be the leader of the universe.
I
That's
think
too many
that
people in
that
worlds.
like represents them being God.
I guess,
Yeah, they
but
wanna be
probably
worshipped.
why.
I'd get caught up in the bureaucracy and the red tape of everything. It would
Mhm.
be really stressful.
Ben's
Totally.
got
What,
a
Ben?
Ben's
I
got
have
a
a
thought.
I have a question.
Do you?
If the mother boxes were on Earth for thousands of years, why didn't they just try before Superman was a thing? They're like, oh, Superman's gone. It's our chance. And it's like,
Yeah, he
he's
was
been
only
around
on
for
Earth
like a
30
decade at
years or
most.
something.
And he
Well-
wasn't active as Superman until like
Yeah.
5
Totally.
years ago.
And it was only one of the mother boxes was
Mm.
on Earth for thousands of years because the other two, the
Maybe
one
they
was
don't activate until Kryptonian is around.
maybe there was like
And then he died, and they were like, "Oh no, it's chill, guys." But this movie's confusing.
yeah, it makes it a little confusing too because then it makes me curious about if there's because he said I don't know if he says it in the movie or not, Steppenwolf, but he definitely says it in the trailer where he's like, no Kryptonians, no lanterns, like this world will fall like the rest of them. But it makes me curious, like, well, is there a lantern? Because in the beginning of that montage when Steppenwolf is fighting, there's a part where he kills a Green Lantern and the ring comes flying off, and then it flies off, and you're like, oh, that could be for Hal Jordan. Like, who
Yeah.
knows? But I mean, I just don't know. I don't know where that ring went. Did it go to Earth? Were they on Earth? So that made me curious. Like, is
They're
there a
Middle
lantern
Earth,
in
you
this
guys.
universe?
They're in Middle Earth. They're in the Lord of the
I think
Rings,
so.
Middle Earth. The
don't
Shire's
know.
to the left. It's just like Lord of the Rings.
Totally.
Aside from all this mother box, what have you? Yeah, I really liked the Flash in this movie. I will say, like,
I thought
I
he
liked
was
his character.
Well, what were
fun.
your?
I thought he was
what,
fun.
What were your favorite parts of Justice League? Like,
I don't really remember.
I
That's
love-
why I went to go see it yesterday because I wanted
Okay,
to.
good.
I wanted to see
Good.
it for a second time because
Uh-huh.
we were talking about earlier. I
Mm.
feel like I enjoy movies better the second time around, and so
Yes.
because the first time I saw Justice League, I think my fanboyism got in the way because I was
Mm.
really frustrated, if I'm being honest, and
Mm.
I think I was almost mad to a certain extent because I was just underwhelmed by the entire movie, and as I just feel like the first act is very choppy.
Mhm.
It doesn't really flow that well. And then I enjoy the second act. It's slowed down a little bit, more focused on the Justice League itself and those characters and them coming together as a team, which I really liked.
Mm.
And the third act, it's just so much CGI. I think with like this DC universe, every third act, it's either like this big blue beam in Suicide Squad or like they're fighting Doomsday in the third act.
Mm.
And that's, Chaos throughout Metropolis and the same thing in Man of Steel, which is my favorite film in the DC universe. I
Mhm.
don't know about you guys. Man of Steel for me.
I mean,
definitely.
what are we talking when we talk about DC Universe?
Oh,
Where
Wonder
are we
Woman,
starting?
Of course. Man of Steel. So it'd be
Okay,
Man of
so
Steel,
then
Suicide
Wonder
Squad,
Woman for
Wonder
me,
Woman,
yes.
and Justice League. Yeah.
So we
Yes.
can't go like the Dark Knight.
No.
No.
It's
That's
not
its
part
own
of-
entity.
Yeah. That's his own thing. Yeah. Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Definitely
Wonder Woman's my
Wonder
favorite
Wonder
too.
Woman for sure. She was
Sure.
my favorite
Yeah,
part of
favorite
this.
parts.
And when Superman finally wakes up and he's like totally spazzing out and freaking out because he's
Mhm.
come back to life and he doesn't know what's happening, and the whole team is trying to like get him to calm down. that whole sequence of him fighting them off, that
Right,
was
that
what
was
I
pretty cool.
wanted the whole movie to be.
Same.
Was like, who
That would've
cares
been a
about
long
Steppenwolf and everything?
fight
Like,
sequence.
yeah,
Totally. And I love when the Flash is running around him and
Mhm.
he just
he
oh,
turned.
he doesn't even
He
turn.
looks at
His
him? Oh,
eyeball
man.
just goes to him and the Flash is
And I
like,
was like, oh
holy shit, he can see me.
Like
Like that might have been my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was really, I legitimately and
Mhm.
genuinely laughed at that,
Mhm.
and I was like, that's a great like team moment where they're all
Totally.
like, I wanted the whole movie to be that tone, that feeling, and that moment of them together.
what
I
I
feel like
was
they could extend
worried,
that.
or what I didn't really care for it was Cyborg in this movie, and I don't know if it was because of how they like decided to make him look like Cyborg. I'm not sure. I like Cyborg in Smallville, so
I think he was
I
just
take a lot of this to Smallville, and I'm like, but I liked this in Smallville.
Yeah.
But I liked this in Smallville. You know,
You
like
just love Smallville.
I know I do.
Smallville's great.
It's great. So
She also likes Baldwin because of what's
yeah,
his face in Smallville, Lex Luthor. Who plays him? What's his name?
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
Rosenbaum, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the other part too. That's kind of like hurt. I felt like Batman v Superman a little bit was with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor because every time I saw Jesse Eisenberg, I was like, Michael Rosenbaum would be so much better
I
in this
know.
role.
I know.
And it
he
hurts.
is Lex Luthor.
Totally.
It's just so why I don't know. I feel like he.
I mean, I get why they couldn't cast him in the cinematic universe because they're trying to separate from the TV aspect of it. But
Mhm.
still, no, trust me, I'm with you with that
Mm.
one. But Cyborg for me, I think he was a lot. I mean, 95% of him was CGI. The only thing that's human is half of his face, and so I
Right.
think that's already kind of detaches the audience a little bit because it's hard to relate. Um, and like I actually didn't mind Cyborg. I liked Cyborg more than I thought I was going to going in the movie. Like I think Ray Fisher actually did a good
I think
job.
he's a good. I have no problem with his acting
Mhm.
or the arc of the character. I just didn't like how he looked, and
No, I
it just
agree.
bothered me the whole time. I was like, this could be better. This could be different. I don't like this. So that's what
I just feel
my
like
problem
mine
was.
wasn't the look. It was that I wanted his story itself is heartbreaking. I wanted to
Mhm.
feel that heartbreak from him. Like
Yeah,
I
sure.
couldn't see how like lonely he was and in despair, and how kind of like this depression that had sunk into him and how it affected his family life or relationships. Like I want to see how he felt disconnected from his family, scared that this machine is like in his mind and taking over. Like I wanted to
Mhm.
feel all those emotions, and there has been movies that have done that better with machines.
Right.
And I wanted to see that here, and I would have felt more connected to him because it's the first time we meet him. He's not been in any other movies. We don't know anything about him. This is an introduction, and I didn't
Yeah.
feel like connected. To
Have
him.
either of you heard the story of the real cyborg?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so there's this podcast called Invisibilia, where they go through all these different things in the world. Like they have an episode about this woman who does not feel fear, and how many times she's been like held at gunpoint because of the fact that she doesn't recognize fear and she
Mm.
doesn't feel fear. So she
Mm.
gets in a lot of very scary situations because she doesn't understand, that
That they're
you
dangerous.
need to be afraid and this is a dangerous situation and you need to go away. But there's one where they go and they meet a human cyborg, like a real human cyborg, and it's insane because he created it himself, and it was basically his thesis. I want to say at MIT was like, I'm going to create myself as a cyborg. And they're like, okay, you do that. And so now like when he like looks at people, it's like a Google Glass sort of thing where he can like tell like all your stats and stuff about you. Like
Wow.
when it's like
What?
insane. So check out Invisibilia
I
and
will.
the
That's kinda
cyborg
crazy.
This
episode.
is crazy.
It sounds
Yeah.
like an
That
episode
really
of Black
freaks me out.
Mirror.
Yeah, it totally
Yeah,
is. I'm like, why would you do this to
absolutely.
yourself?
Oh, Black Mirror is so good. You know what I wanted Cyborg to be like? I just rewatched Watchmen, and I wanted him to be like Dr. Manhattan, where he doesn't look human. So they don't have the normal human emotions, but you still feel like this underlying, like vibrating anger or tension or something. I wanted it to be like that.
I think.
Here's go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think like it goes back to the overall problem with the DC universe right now is characterization. We're just like they're trying to cram everything in so quickly. Like Cyborg needed his own film.
Yeah.
Superman needed a
Yes.
sequel. I feel like
Mhm.
before this, and
Yeah.
Aquaman definitely needed his own film. Like I love Jason Momoa's Aquaman, but I'm just like I feel no attachment. Like I was thinking
Right,
about
there's
it.
no
I
connection.
was like, if Jason Momoa or Cyborg die, or even Ezra Miller to that extent, I was like, I don't think I'd really feel anything towards
Yeah, I
it.
wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm like, that's the problem because it's supposed to be, tension filled and peril towards the end. And I'm like, the only people I really care about Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And that's
Right.
probably because they've been in movies before.
Exactly. That's
Mhm.
exactly why. I was just
Yeah.
thinking, like, if we swapped out a director for Zack Snyder and swapped someone else in, who would you guys want to see? Because I would want to see Guillermo del Toro's vision of Justice
my
League.
He's rumored to do the next one, isn't he? Or he was rumored
I
to
don't
some
know.
Justice League
DC
Dark,
Justice League Dark. That's what
which
he's
I'd be
doing.
so down for.
Yeah.
Because his dark movies, like Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, is one of my favorite comic book or graphic novel
Mhm.
films, and
Shape of Water looks
Shape of
really
Water
good.
looks
Yep.
oh fucking sick! I'm so excited. And I love Pan's Labyrinth, and everything he does has that dark tone and that kind of weird otherworldly atmosphere that these movies want to have, but it has a heart and it has emotions and it has developed characters. So yeah, I think it'd be perfect. I wish they would bring him on.
Totally. I
they
think this
could.
is a generic answer because a lot of people probably Matthew Vaughn.
I love Matthew
Yeah,
Vaughn.
I'd be
Oh my
very interested to
gosh.
see a Justice
He
League
would be
directed by
great.
Matthew Vaughn.
It was supposed to be
George Miller. Hey.
George
a
Miller,
long-
yeah.
a while back, like 10 years back. He had the whole team picked out, right?
Well, George
There's a
Miller's
script.
really.
There's a George Miller script of Justice League. I can send it to you.
I would
have it, yeah.
love to
It's-
read that.
It's good.
Army Hammer was Green Lantern, right? Or Bruce Wayne?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean,
I
Army
feel
has
like
been rumored to
Army
be-
Hammer like is one of those things that people are just trying to keep making happen, and it's
it's
not going to
just-
happen.
And I love Army
I
Hammer,
love
too.
him. He's great.
I liked
but-
him in Man from Uncle. I liked him and
Hmm.
Henry Cavill a lot in that movie.
Yeah.
That's a good looking cast right there.
That
is a
Jesus.
good
And
looking
Alicia
cast.
Vikander, right? Isn't
yeah,
she in that?
she's
Yeah.
super cute in it. It's super adorable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's move on
Okay.
to our links. Otherwise, we're going to be on this forever. But we're going to take Justice League and we're going to link it to movies with teams in them. Doesn't
Yes.
necessarily have to be sports, but we picked sports. So for both of ours, which movie would you like to go to first, Jared?
Let's do Major League first.
All right. So Major League. Well, Stacey yawns.
Sorry. Every time.
We need the yawn count.
Every time. I always yawn.
Major League came out April 7th, 1989. For those that have not seen it, it is about a new owner of the Cleveland Indians putting together a purposely horrible team so they'll lose and she can move the team to a different city. But when the plot is uncovered, they start winning just to spite her. I love how they like now start winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I love how they're like, oh, we're just gonna win now. Like they're like, oh, let's put a lawnmower,
Well,
whatever,
there-
in the bathtub, and we got ourselves together.
I think within
That's
sports, I
how
think
baseball works.
we were talking about this earlier. I think this is definitely more, I hate this phrase, but like a guy's movie, so to speak. But I think because within sports there is this certain element of heart playing a factor. And like
Yes.
it's obviously prevalent in a lot of like Rocky or underdog stories like that, where like it's like, well, if the odds are against us, you're backed up at the corner, like you persevere more. Anyway, that's kind of
you
why.
do persevere more.
Yeah.
I agree that it's a male. It's from a male point of view, and I liked that you saw each man's struggle to kind of find his confidence again in this game, and that's why I think it's like a male centric point of view, because it's like how as a man are they going to succeed at this, and how does it affect them in their relationships? I liked that part of it.
Yeah, and I just love how they all come from different backgrounds, and I love it's just such a sports movie. Like if you've never played sports in your life, this is exactly how guys or even women talk within like baseball terms or football terms, where it's just it's very relatable. As I can't tell you how many times I've quoted this while playing baseball. This movie just
What quotes do you bring up?
like a lot from Harry Doyle, obviously, where he's like, here's a 3-2 pitch from Vaughn. It's like and the guy hits it and he's like, ah, shit. Or even like, when they're talking when Roger Dorn's talking to Rick Vaughn, he's like, what kind of league you come from? He's like, California Penal. How'd you get in that one? Stole a car. Like, it's just so fantastic.
His haircut is crazy, by
Oh,
the
it's
way.
good.
I didn't realize he had such a weird haircut, and I was like, if I was a dude, like, I'd want that.
And I
I'd
love
want
that
that
he had-
Wild Thing haircut.
Oh, and the music, Wild Thing, when he
Wild
comes out,
Thing.
especially at the end to close out the game.
Mhm.
Oh, like
It's
it's
great.
just such a badass moment.
Mhm.
It's
And
so good.
they started doing that in real baseball now, right? Like
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
new pitcher or whatever has like a little song.
Because
that they
usually
do.
they only bring in the relief pitcher like way late in the game, anyways.
Well,
so,
yeah. So like
yeah.
they're called closers. So they close the game out. So you bring them in the last inning, either with a lead to hopefully
keep
end the
lead.
game. Yep.
Mhm.
And so so now they started doing it in baseball where like closer closing pictures will come out, and then
Mhm.
each one has like an entrance song.
And it's
Who has the
usually
best
Wild
intro-
Thing,
Yeah.
right?
Who has the best entrance song now? Do they
The-
use like current songs?
Sometimes,
Beyonce?
like
Little Diva?
it would be
That'd
like,
be mine.
"This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot."
Mhm.
And so, but one of the best ones, so that song "Shipping Up to Boston."
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh,
this-
we know that song.
Oh, yeah.
Also known
Uh-huh.
as the Patriots entrance
Yeah.
Yes.
song. for a-
well,
Motown.
JTE is a
Yeah.
diehard
Mhm.
Patriots fan,
Uh-huh.
and
Mhm.
so that's probably why he uses that song. But he, so this guy, his name is Jonathan Papelbon. He used to be a closer. What a Boston name, huh? Papelbon. He used to be the
Papelbon.
Papelbon, Jonathan Papelbon, coming in and close the game for the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. And so he would come out to that song, and it would just be an awesome moment because it would be like dun dun, and then
Well,
he'd come
it's such a
running
good
out.
song.
It's such a great song.
Oh man. Let's see. Charlie Sheen admitted to Sports Illustrated that he took steroids to prepare for this role.
Which
There
is
you go.
crazy because he's not that big in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
I don't
like-
know
He's
what
just
he's doing.
Charlie Sheen.
Well,
He's
maybe
like,
he must have been much smaller.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Charlie Sheen has always been like druggo skinny. You know what I mean? Like he's
I mean, it
always
makes
maybe
sense.
he's always
Saw this-
been doing like cocaine or something. Like he's never been overweight. He's always been like
Skinny.
skinny.
He saw
and
this as
almost
another
gaunt.
opportunity to try something different,
yeah.
some different drugs.
Yeah.
Like, what
Maybe.
can this do?
How
Yeah.
great is Wesley Snipes in this movie?
He's so
he
funny.
is
He is pretty
awesome.
His little scoop he does, and it's like he's digging.
That's
into
the one
dirt.
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
guys.
And
That's,
he throws, he's like trying to show off, and he tries to tap the bat against home plate and catch it, and it just falls down. Like it's just like little stuff like that makes the movie, those little subtle things. And Wesley Snipes, it's just cool to see an actor like Wesley Snipes, who's obviously notoriously known for these big action or science fiction films.
Mhm.
And you forget that early in his career, he did
ensemble
comedy.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like that's awesome.
He's the one thing missing from that trailer for Infinity War. I'm like, we need Blade.
Need Blade.
Yeah.
Need Blade.
Oh, do you think he'd
Wesley
come back?
Snipes. Blade. Yes,
I
he
think he
would. He
would.
needs money.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Come
Guys,
on
he's
now.
got a big tax
Guys,
bill to
this
pay.
is why Johnny Depp is in like every movie because he's so cheap now because he's so broke.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need money.
I
I,
need
will
money.
do this
Yeah.
movie. Okay.
Murder
He'll
on the
probably
Orient
do our
Express?
podcast, although I wouldn't have him on because he's a horrible person.
Is he?
But oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
he's a
know.
horrible
Wait,
person.
who?
Johnny
Johnny
Depp.
Depp.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, Jack Sparrow.
he's
My
terrible.
heart.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's unfortunate.
He's not good.
Anyways,
Mhm.
back to Renee Russo because you
okay.
had
Yep.
some thoughts about
I had
Renee
some-
Russo
Okay.
that you were going to share, and I was
Renee
very excited.
Russo, she, I want to be her when I grow up. I got the reddish hair. Like I want to be
Mhm.
I
this
could see
like
it.
beautiful woman. Her outfits are so bad in this, and I know it's '89. Like I get it, but there's one moment where she has like a black dress with like this weird, and I thought she had like a jacket tied around her waist. It looked so stupid, and it was this like red giant bow thing. And then when he bursts into like her fiance's house at like some party and they're having champagne or whatever, and she's in like this weird, she has like this weird like pin up, but then it's like a little bit, and she didn't fix this part, and then it's all this weird gold. It looks so fucking stupid, you guys. I love Renee Russo, but no,
The
fashion,
costuming.
the costume,
Costuming.
no. She's
That's so
beautiful and just
interesting.
like jeans and a top. Like why in the '80s all the dress up outfits were
Has to
all
be
so
shoulder
bad and
pads.
I was about to say the shoulder
uh,
pads.
and like there was
Mhm.
no shape to it. Like they made their bodies look terrible. She was like a beautiful woman. Like what are they doing?
So are you mad about Renee Russo's outfit in her? Or are you just more mad about like the 80s?
I'm mad about
Attire in
80s
general.
attire in general. It's not her fault, Renee Russo. You're a beautiful, precious angel child, but it just didn't make sense what she was wearing, and it looked so terrible. And then there's like when he first meets her in the library or whatever, she has this like little bitty braid. Like the rest of her hair is all down like this, and there's like one
Yeah.
little braid that's here.
You
And I'm
didn't-
like,
That
just
was
do it all a
weird.
braid or don't have a braid. What are you doing?
Oh, I remember that
It
part. She's
doesn't
wearing the
make
glasses,
sense.
right?
Yeah, and she looks great. And
I was about to
there's
say, I
like
think
this
she
little
looks
turd
incredible.
braid in the back. It looks like a little turd. It makes no sense. I'm really worked up about this.
Apparently
you
no.
guys.
I used to, when the Thomas Crown Fair came out,
Mm,
I had
love the Thomas Crown.
biggest crush.
She is so
she
beautiful.
is a smoke
Mhm.
show
Oh,
in that movie. Holy
every
hell.
time I dress in like all black for the schmodown and like put a little leather on, I'm like, this is my Renee Russo.
Renee
Thomas
Russo.
Crown Affair.
Oh
Look.
yeah. Oh my god. I remember there's a scene where like she's topless. They don't shoot, but it's like from behind.
Mhm.
I was probably
Yeah,
like 10.
That's
I was
the
like,
sexiest.
You're like,
Can I just say the sexiest
this
a
is
woman can
it.
be is from behind topless. You don't need to see the tchotchkes.
Mm.
You don't need to see these little bubbies, but just the back and like the illusion, the hint.
it's
of
the mystery
boobies.
factor of
It's
it.
the mystery.
The
It's
side
great.
Totally.
boob.
Yeah, the side boob when she looks back and the arm hides
Mm.
the boob. Like I'm not a man, but if I was a man, I'd be here for that.
I am a
You know,
man,
I
and I
think
can
you're
tell
here
you
for
that I'm
that.
here for that.
Okay,
Right,
good to know.
good.
Good to know.
Same.
Good to know, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen. We got to move on to our next.
No, Renee
Movie.
Russo's side boob.
But you love the
Great.
replacements, and
All
that's
right.
our next
I do love the
one.
Replacements is so
replacements.
good.
I saw it for the first time just last week. So
What are your
thanks,
thoughts?
guys. I enjoyed it. It's it has very much similarities to Major League
I
because they're
know.
It
both
does.
like terrible teams that like came in for a purpose.
Yeah.
You know,
And everyone has
Uh,
different personality.
right?
I
right.
I love. First of all, I mean, Keanu Reeves is actually a very convincing quarterback.
He
Like
is.
he's
Yes.
super convincing. I was like, this guy could be. I believe that he's an ex-college football
He
player.
got offered
They keep putting
to
him.
audition for
Yes,
or try
for
out
a
for hold on,
NFL
wait, wait.
team.
I got it.
I
got
wonder
it
if
somewhere.
he. I don't know much about Keanu Reeves'
Baltimore
background.
Ravens.
You're
Yeah.
kidding
The
me.
They were like,
Baltimore
"Hey,
Ravens.
come and try out for us."
Mhm.
Wow, that would have been
During
incredible.
filming.
Shane Falco,
Shane
96
Footsteps
Sugar
Falco.
Bowl. Yep.
Footsteps Falco's my man. That's actually the second time Keanu Reeves has played an ex-college football player. 'Cause
Yes,
Point Break.
Ohio State.
Mhm.
And so I wonder maybe he
Same
does
school.
have some like football background if he's getting
Maybe.
like some of these jobs where he's a quarterback.
Maybe.
Well, I'm sure he's obviously been in some sort of training for those.
Oh,
He
yeah.
has to be because you
roles.
look at him
Yeah.
and you're like, you could totally be an NFL quarterback.
I
You
want to
just
know.
look like it.
Maybe I need to know his background just in general. Like, who is
Keanu
Keanu
Reeves'
Reeves?
He
story?
was, he
All
was
I
a
know-
model for a while, and then
What?
he got his big,
Mm.
and then he
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted, yeah,
Mhm.
and then that exploded.
All I
Ben's
know is
gonna
that
give us
he
some
has
info.
given away
He's a
almost
vampire.
all of his
Oh,
money.
yes,
He's
he
what?
does
He's a
drink
vampire.
unicorn blood.
Have you
Yes,
seen?
he
Have you
doesn't
seen the
age.
theories?
That he's, I mean, he looks like a vampire.
Well, no, because it's like there are photos of people throughout history that look like Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah.
Exactly like him. So the running theory is like he's actually a vampire, guys. Look how he doesn't age. Look at all these old photos.
That's
Like
awesome.
like a Civil War soldier.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
totally.
Keanu
Or like a
Reeves.
guy. There's a nobleman in the 1600s too. That's like a painting of him that looks like Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
That's right. He is. And
Amazing.
he's given away all his
Amazing.
money from like The Matrix. He's made like almost from his films, these huge box office films, he's made like $100 million or something as an actor. He's like given it all away. Like to people from the
Yeah.
cast and crew, they said like, yeah,
He's
he gave
awesome.
me like $100,000
He
for
seems
my
awesome.
indie film that I wanted to make. Like he legit
That's
is
awesome.
like, take it, sure, I don't need it.
I got to see him speak after Neon Demon. I saw the Neon Demon, and then it was at
Ooh.
ArcLight, and then they had him and the director Nicholas Winding Refn and some guy from Amazon because this was like one of Amazon studios,
Uh-huh.
and it was just awesome to see Keanu Reeves like in his element,
Yeah,
like
that's
be
awesome.
himself.
Yeah, what was
I-
he like? Tell us more.
He seemed like he's kind of a surfer dude. Like,
Yeah.
what are you like? Sometimes there would be questions like, I don't even know what this question is asking.
So he is Johnny Utah.
Yeah,
He
That's
is.
exactly who he is.
Johnny
That-
Utah
makes my life.
So
Oh, you have, oh
Mhm.
God, Michael. I
He's
wanted to be
best.
Johnny Utah. I wanted to be Jack Travin. I wanted to
Who's
be
Jack Travin?
Jack Travin's Speed.
Oh,
that's
okay,
it.
gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Oh, I was a big
All I
Speed
know
and
is
Point
his
Break guy.
partner's name is Harry.
Harry,
all I
Harry
know.
Doyle. I think
Yeah.
Harry Doyle, right?
Maybe.
I think
Wait,
so.
no. Maybe. Wait, or is Harry Doyle his name from Dumb and Dumber?
Oh, that is his name from Dumb and Dumber. Yes,
Mm.
Harry. I
Mm.
forget his
And
name.
Lloyd Christmas.
Lloyd
Yes.
Christmas.
Guys, we're getting way off the rails.
I
know,
Back
sorry,
to
all right.
Replacement.
So what did you think? Did you like it?
I liked it, but here's my problem with it. Early 2000s, we still have just one woman, like that.
No, I
She
agree.
we never see her again,
Mhm.
like in acting and stuff. I was like, where'd she go?
She was
You
great
know?
in this film.
I'm
She was
like, who
very
are you and
charismatic.
where
I
did you
really liked her
go?
story.
I know. I forget her name.
Brooke
but yeah,
Langton.
Brooke Langton. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene in the pub though, where he like goes to hang out with her and it's about to close, and then like
Yes,
he's walking out,
and then you hear the voiceover
of
of
John Madden.
Yes,
Yes,
of
it's
course.
so
I
perfect.
figure that's a
Uh,
highlight for many people.
Yeah, it's such a great scene.
I love this movie. It was one of the staple films of our household that we would watch all the time. And 2000, it came out in 2000. I was 10 or 11, I think. So it was the perfect movie to watch with like my older brother. And it's like a little bit naughty. It's like, is it R or PG-13? I think it's PG-13.
I think it's
Mm.
PG-13
I don't
because
think
I
it's
don't
R.
think they dropped that too many
So
bombs.
it was like just naughty enough to like be a little bit scandalous, but not too much where my parents were like, no, you can't watch this. And so I remember there's like the whole scene, the bad girl scene, where they're like stripping and
Yeah.
dancing all sexy at the
Yes.
football game to distract everyone. And I was like, oh, but I was like, oh, secretly, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's how women use their powers. Like I,
That's how women use their powers.
but I loved it. I thought it was
That's hilarious.
hilarious. I love that everyone is a stereotype and they just lean into that. And I'm like, sure, go for it. and I love the story. It's got heart. It's got Gene fucking Hackman.
Dude,
in
Gene
it.
Hackman kills it in this
Greatest
movie.
coach.
And he's just like some of the quotes that he says. Yeah, what quote did you tweet out? It was great. It's like
oh gosh, I don't even remember.
I don't know, but it was like you know,
Heart.
winners want the ball when
Yeah.
the game's on the line.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
or
yeah.
some-
Heart.
What's the
Miles-
difference between
miles and
winners
miles
and
and
losers?
and then
The score.
yes,
Yeah.
so good.
And then Chicks Do Scars.
Chicks Two
Wait,
Scars.
Paid Heels, Chicks Do Scars, Glory lasts forever. Right on, Jane, right on.
on.
And they go and they win, you guys. It's great.
Yeah, oh my, it's so I know it is such a cliche stereotype
It
movie,
is.
but yeah,
Mhm.
I will watch it every time. Like Keanu Reeves coming into the huddle with his helmet off, and he's like, now's a good time for say something really inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style. Like it's so good.
You're like, no one says this.
I know
like,
one
no
says
one
that,
would
but yeah,
actually
I
say
am
that.
smiling while watching this movie.
What I don't understand, the one thing I don't understand is that okay, so there's a strike going on. That's why they have to have these replacements, scabs, if you will, that are going to cross the picket line. And there wouldn't be a strike for the cheerleaders though. So why are they having all these like
It makes no
lame
sense.
ass cheerleaders?
If-
And like and first of all, that, but also even if you were replacing the cheerleaders, you would still have some bomb ass dancers coming to like
Yeah. They'd be like, this is my
do
shot.
this. Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
Now, this is-
totally.
I
Yeah.
didn't make it last time. Now maybe I'll make it. You'd have really
Do you
good
know how many
people.
sorority sisters of mine have like tried out for the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders? Like I
All
grew up
of
as a
them?
dancer. Half my friends are like, "Oh yeah, I tried out." It's like a rite of passage. Like you
Yeah.
do that, you try and be a UT cheerleader,
Mhm.
Jacksonville Jaguar cheerleaders. It's like another
For here,
Why
it's Laker
Jacksonville?
girl.
because they always go on the USO tours. They have a contract where they always go, and so that's like the chance to like travel
Nice.
and do that, for your
Interesting.
country and everything. So,
But
yeah.
no, I agree. It
Yeah.
it's
The one
it's
thing
like
I'm
the
like,
whole and the
no.
whole idea of like the NFL going on strike, so they do these replacement players just for entertainment. It's like, oh, I don't know if that would ever work in the real world.
It's
But
like
hey,
they're trying to do a league of their own in
Yeah.
modern
Totally,
times.
totally.
Mhm.
oh,
I
such a
don't
good
know.
movie. We
This
should have
is
talked
the
about
league of their own of the football world.
Totally.
There we go.
Yeah, every sport has its movie. You know
Mhm,
where it's the main
mhm.
one. Baseball is a league of their own. Major League, sorry, but woo aside, it's a league of their own.
Oh, League of Their Own is.
It's
We should have talked
fantastic.
about that.
Oh,
It's
that's
all
okay.
right.
We've already
It's
talked
all
about
right.
it actually.
Oh, okay,
on the
perfect.
show.
Mhm. It's been 2 years, but we talked about it.
Oh, we talked about it.
You're
We're
crying.
We're gonna,
You're crying.
There's no
There's no crying
in
in
baseball.
baseball.
It's the best. It's the best.
And didn't we sing the song with Emma that one day?
Yeah.
We did sing A League of Their
Oh,
Own.
We
one
did.
day.
yeah.
Mhm.
We are the.
Adderall,
Are you gonna sing it with us?
Hear that call.
Are we gonna do it
Time
again?
has come, yes, for one and all
Oh, should remember.
To play ball.
That's all. That's all you
There,
have to do. It's
that's
okay.
all. There, yeah. All right, so we went from Justice League, then we linked it to movies with teams, and we went to Major League and the replacements. Now, off of Major League, Jared is going to link to something,
I will link to
and
something.
we'll link to something off of the replacements. Do
Yeah.
you want to go first, or do you want us?
Yeah,
to
I'll go first. So
Okay,
Charlie Sheen has difficulty seeing without his glasses.
great. Mhm.
So I thought of another movie where a character has difficulty seeing without his glasses, and that would be My Girl.
Oh, my
We haven't talked
girl.
about this movie. I'm really excited.
He can't
You're
see
bringing
without
it.
his glasses.
Oh no.
And
He
obviously, My
can't
Girl's.
see without his
It's,
glasses.
it's Thomas J, right?
Thomas,
so.
what?
I think it's Thomas J. That's Macaulay Culkin's character, right?
Oh, is
Oh,
that
Thomas
the
J
name?
can't see without his glasses.
Oh my
I think.
God. I was
if
like,
if
what are you
it's wrong,
talking
please
about?
let me know what the actual name is. I think
Anna
it's Thomas J.
Klumsky. This was like must have been her first film.
Oh,
I'm
early on.
guessing because she's so little.
It was, and then
Just
she
little
became
one.
a food critic and lived a real life, and then now she's back on Veep and she's fucking great.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her. Was she also in Now and Then? No, she was
No.
not.
No,
she was
that
not.
was,
Gabby Hoffman is who I'm confusing her with.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Girls.
My Girl, I remember being sad. I remember it's
So
kind of the
sad.
first film that I remember seeing where the kids were about my age and at the time, and then they were about my age, but they didn't talk like kids, and that was weird to me. I was like, a kid doesn't say things like she says.
Yeah.
You know,
she's
she was
quite
very mature, but maybe she was an only child, right? So that
Also,
maybe
her mom
that's the
died.
reason.
Like she had to be the
Yep.
She
female
had
of
to
the
grow
household.
up.
And then Jamie Lee
quick.
Curtis busts in.
I
and
know.
was like this little slutty makeup woman
Yeah.
trying to get at her dad, and she's like, "How dare you!" I'm now reliving the plot in my mind. I haven't seen this movie in years.
I know. It's been a
Um,
while.
I know there's been a lot of discussion about why Macaulay Culkin's character, spoiler alert, dies from bee stings.
Mhm.
I've
Mhm.
never understood that. I'm like, if you get stung once, just start running, and you'll just be away from the bees. Like I don't get why he had to die
I know.
Mm.
Well, I remember
from all the stings.
there was like a swarm of them though. There was like hundreds
Yeah,
of
wasn't
bees. I
there a
remember
nest?
like yeah, there was a nest that they were
I
playing with. He was
guess.
trying to get the moon ring. That's right. Because she dropped the moon ring.
Oh yeah.
And he was
oh
trying to
my God,
get
you
it,
guys, We
yes.
gotta watch this movie today.
Yes, he was trying to get the moon ring for
Mood.
mood ring, excuse me.
Mhm.
I don't have no idea what those rings are, but mood ring. They
You
apparently-
don't?
They tell your mood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
they'll change
change
based
with your,
on
like-
the heat of your body.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know what.
Mm.
Oh, I was like, I
Your
don't know
startup
what
disk
this
is
is.
almost full. But
I don't
yeah.
know what that
I get that
means.
message all the time because I'm not good about deleting things or saving them from my
It's
Oh.
computer.
understandable.
No, I remember being super sad about this film because it
Yeah.
dealt with death. Didn't she live? They were in a funeral home. Like that was
Yeah,
her
that was
father's.
Thomas J had
Business.
an open casket.
Oh,
I remember they
yeah.
showed
Mhm.
Macaulay Culkin in the casket, and that was like because you don't see kids die often in movies, and so I
Right.
think
Or you don't
seeing
like see the body.
no,
It's just like implied.
and so yeah, so that was pretty intense to watch as a young kid, but I still love that movie.
Uh,
So yeah, My Girl.
yeah.
That's sad.
My
Oh,
Girl.
it's real sad.
What other movie has someone that can't see well? You brought two movies, right?
Oh yeah. Sorry, but this is for it's not.
Oh, you
seeing,
linked it
it's-
different. Okay,
Oh,
got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's
So
all right.
obviously another sports movie, but I was
Okay.
thinking of like with the replacements, like a team of misfits coming together to
Okay.
try to form a team.
Mhm.
And so of course the first thing that came to my mind was Dodgeball.
Oh,
Ah,
okay.
Dodgeball.
Which
I don't think we
is
talked about this
Story
either.
of an underdog.
Mhm.
Story of an underdog.
Mhm.
Average Joe's Gym versus Global Gym. And like the
Mhm.
most heated dodgeball match in the history of ESPN 8 to Ocho. And so I think
Which
this is
they're
also
creating.
I know. I think this is also like another for a horrible term, but like a guy's movie. Because like
Sure.
they talk about ESPN a lot.
Mhm.
And it's very sports central, and they have Chuck Norris at the end who's giving the thumbs
Mhm.
up. And so
Amazing.
it's so perfect. But yeah, I mean I love Vince Vaughn. I love Ben Stiller in this movie, and they're
Yeah,
they're
I
just-
love that Ben Stiller is the same character he was in Heavyweights.
Yes.
They
and
just,
is now
they just brought him
it's-
over.
Yeah,
Different
pretty
names.
much.
same
just put a
character.
mustache on
pretty
him.
much
Mhm.
It's-
same thing. Rip Torn, love him as the coach. That's just if you
Sweet.
can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a
Dodge a
ball.
ball.
So great.
Sorry, Justin Long, you can't dodge a wrench. So
Oh,
I guess you
and
can't
Justin
dodge a
Long's
ball.
so good in it.
He's so funny.
He's
he really
so funny.
is.
Like in the
Mhm.
beginning when he's at the gym and he's getting trapped, like, and so he's trying to explain. He's getting trapped on like the machine because he's trying to lift heavy weights, and he's trying to explain to Vince Vaughn's character like how he's trying to join the
Mhm.
cheerleading team in order to
Mhm.
become cool.
Mhm.
And Vince Vaughn's like, yeah, well, high school has changed a lot since I've been there. I guess it's so great.
I love the characters in this movie that are on the other team. What's there's like
Global
the
Gym.
Russian woman that they have
Oh, yeah.
join with her teeth or whatever.
I know. And then she ends up falling in love with one of the Global Gym guys.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
I
great.
don't remember this movie that well. I mean, I remember it, but I remember thinking in the theater, like, there was a lot of laughter, and I was like, I'm not laughing. So I need to understand what it is that is not like resonating with me. And then I realized it's slapstick humor. That's
Very
not
much.
really that's not really my
Mm.
funny bone.
Totally, which is very understandable.
So I was like, oh, okay. I understand why I'm not laughing.
Like a
at
lot
these
of the Ben
parts.
Stiller humor in there is
Mhm.
very much slapstick.
Mhm.
But a lot of the Vince Vaughn is very much sarcasm and it's witty
It's
dialogue.
just him.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
I mean,
him talking.
and he's the same character in every movie.
Yeah.
Like he just went from there to Wedding Crashers.
Mm.
And so but I love that type. And I think that's when Vince Vaughn's humor first started coming out, like before Wedding Crashers when he like was at his peak.
Swingers
Mhm.
before, well, after Swingers.
After
obviously.
Swingers.
Even old school was kind of around that time.
Old School was like maybe a couple years before.
Okay.
And so I just remember like maybe it was because I was still like in high school. I don't remember Swingers, and I mean I've seen Swingers since, and I've obviously seen what we just said with Vince Vaughn.
Old school.
Old School
Mhm.
since, but I don't think I was allowed to see it back then, and so maybe that's why I resonated more with adulthood and
Sure.
Dodgeball. Like the first time I remember seeing Vince Vaughn and
Mhm.
being like, this guy is hysterical, and then Wedding Crashers, and then I went back and watched Swingers and Old School,
Got it.
all that good
Yes.
stuff.
I just remember
Oh,
that.
it's so good.
Yep.
If you don't,
Cobras.
if you are
What's up,
playing,
Rachel? I feel you, girl.
oh, it's the best. If you're not, if
Mhm.
you're like entering any sports arena, please do that entrance.
Yeah.
It's the best.
That's gonna be my baseball entrance someday when I'm a pitcher and I'm the closer. ABC always be closing, you guys, and I'm the closer baseball pitcher
Mhm.
person. I'm just gonna walk out like that.
What's your
the whole
song?
That there's no song. I make the song. I make the song.
Ah, you're
and
on
the whole
mic.
audience starts
Love
doing
it.
it with me. I'm on mic. I have a little bitty microphone.
And you have
And
to
it's
walk
got a
out
little
through the
baseball on
entire
the end.
outfield,
Yeah.
which is like 200 feet,
Yep.
just doing this the entire time.
Amazing.
It takes you
Amazing.
25 minutes to get from the
Yeah,
bullpen
yeah.
to the pitching
Mhm.
mound. I
Gotta
love it.
build anticipation, you guys. It's
Totally.
sports. You gotta entertain. Sell tickets, baby. Fill the stadium.
Entertainer right
Fill
there.
that stadium. So we went from Justice League, then we linked to two movies with teams in them. Went to Major League and the replacements off of Major League. You linked it to two different things. One was someone with glasses that can't see well without them, and that was My Girl. And then the other one was Misfit Teams with Dodgeball.
Mhm.
And we're gonna link off of the replacements, and we're linking to Gene Hackman films.
Yes.
My Gene Hackman film is Enemy of the State, which is a Christmas movie, guys. It's a Christmas
It
movie.
is.
It takes place at Christmas time.
Yes.
Everyone. Just so everyone knows. They're like, oh, Die Hard's the only action movie. No.
Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the
Yeah,
State does too.
buying Christmas gifts for his wife.
That's right.
Buying lingerie, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
November 20th, 1998. This is about a lawyer who becomes a target by a corrupt politician and his NSA goons when he accidentally receives key evidence to a serious politically motivated crime. This is Will Smith and Gene Hackman as the two main characters. And you also have John Voight, Regina King, Lauren Dean, Jake Busey, Barry Pepper, Gabrielle Bryn. Did you say a Bryn? Byrne.
Burn.
I don't know.
think.
I never.
I don't know.
The budget was $90 million. It made $250.6 million at the box office. Directed by Tony Scott, rest in peace, and written by David McCroney. So basically, and I know you've seen it. You've seen it, Stacey?
I've never
Oh,
seen this
come
movie.
on.
I know. I'm
You've never seen
sorry.
Enemy of the State?
Never seen it. No.
All right, so I can't say too much about this because it's a
Spoiler
really
alert.
yeah. There's a lot. I mean,
You
if I
can.
mention anything, it's going to spoil the movie pretty much for you. So
That's
he's on
okay.
the run. He's a man on the run, and at first he doesn't understand why he's on the run because he knows people are after him. He saw someone else that they were after.
Mhm.
Mm.
So he sees this person and he's like, people are after this guy. And I saw him, I bumped into him at the store. I don't know why they were after him. And
Mm.
now people are coming after him. And he's like, why
Whoa.
are they coming after me now? I saw what they did to that guy. Why are they coming after me now? And so it's this whole kind of revealing of why they're coming after him and why he's on the run.
I like
Gene
it.
Hackman kind of plays a similar character to the character he played in The Conversation, if you've ever
Mhm.
seen that, which is a really great film. And I recommend if you haven't seen Enemy of the State, I recommend seeing The Conversation first, so you kind of have the background on Gene Hackman's character, which they're kind of going for. It's not the same character, but it totally is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But The Conversation is a slow old burn with Harrison Ford as one of his first films. So I recommend that.
Yeah. Enemy of the State, I remember seeing in the theaters as a kid and like being one of the big first
Mhm.
action movies. Plus, Will Smith was at the height of his powers. That was like right
Yes.
around. That was after Independence Day, right around Men in Black. Like the
Wild Wild
dude-
West.
Wild Wild West. I
I
think
love Wild Wild West.
it's a guilty pleasure. Totally.
I was too young to realize that it was bad. So I was
Mhm.
like, oh, it's like a giant spider and they're in the South. I get it. Like,
Yes.
I thought it was hilarious.
Have you ever-
There's also an amazing. Okay, so in this film, in Enemy of the State, there is an incredible standoff. Like that's all I can say. Like there is a part where you're like, "Holy shit, what's gonna go down right now?" And then it's just
And it's like an all-star cast
Incredible.
in Enemy of the State when you're thinking about it, because you were just reading it off. And it's Gene
Mhm.
Hackman and Will Smith and John Voight and Jake Busey's in it. And then
mhm.
like even like
Seth Green
Seth Green
and Jack Black.
and Jack Black and I think
Enemy of the State?
Enemy of the State and Jamie Kennedy.
Yes,
Like, they're
Jamie
all-
Kennedy.
yes,
Why are
they're
all these
all in
ki-
this
Why are
movie.
these
Mhm.
comedians?
Scott
in it?
Conn.
It-
Scott Conn
it
is in
was
it
like-
too.
Yeah, it was like
Whoa.
all
Mhm.
before, like right before they hit
Everyone
it.
broke.
Like
Yes.
everybody, like literally right before it. It's so
Wow.
funny going back and watching, and they're like, "Holy shit, that's Jack Black! Holy
Did he
shit, that's Jamie
play
Kennedy!"
like is it funny in
Mhm.
the
Tom
film? Or does he
Sizemore is
play,
in this
like,
also.
Tom Sizemore, yes.
Mhm.
Oh my god. It's really sad that Tom Sizemore is such a piece of shit because
Oh,
he's such a
I
great
know.
actor.
Oh, you could say a lot of people in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what else
Um,
do we have?
Oh yeah, it's like an all. It's like, and they're not. No, they're all serious characters. That's the
That's so
funniest thing. They're
funny.
not comedic at all. They all play
Yeah.
like computer geeks that are like
Hackers.
hackers and like trying to find out what Will Smith is and like.
That's weird. Really, Jack
it's
Black
great.
isn't
Mhm.
funny in it?
No.
I
No.
can't picture him not funny at all. Like I can't picture him in a
Wasn't he
dramatic
not
role.
funny in Bernie? I don't know.
Or King Kong.
No, he was. I feel like he was a bit of a goof.
He
in
was a bit
King
of a goof,
Kong.
but I think he was trying to be serious.
Yeah, he's definitely trying, but I still laughed at
What
it.
else has he been in? He has. Oh, the Holiday. No.
Oh, I love the holiday so
Yeah.
much.
I know. Anyways, I mean, the state.
Okay.
Which one did you pick, Stacey?
I of course brought the fantastic and classic The Birdcage.
Yes.
Oh,
This again is another staple of my household. We love that it is not a traditional family that's portrayed in the film. For those of you
Jason
that
Lee. Forgot
have
about
not,
him.
oh my God!
Jason
Yes,
Lee.
Jason Lee's in it.
That's
Jesus, I
right.
gotta watch this
That's
movie
right.
again. All-star A-list cast.
Absolutely. Oscar winners coming out the ass, you guys.
Unbelievable.
Came out in 96.
We
A
were talking
gay
about something
cabaret owner and his drag queen companion agree to take up a false straight front so that their son can introduce him to his fiance's right-wing moralistic parents. So basically, two young kids, they're in college, they're in love, they want to get married. One has two gay men that had raised him. They own a drag show and a cabaret club, and they're super successful in Miami. The other is a congressman, extremely conservative, and they have to have these two families meet to try and get these kids to get married. And there's a scandal going on with the congressman, so he wants to keep a low profile. So they're then traveling here incognito and
Mhm.
trying to like introduce everyone. And because they don't want to scare off these conservative parents, they want to do a favor for their son. Nathan Lane dresses up as a woman for dinner to kind of please them and make it seem like it's a normal conservative home. It's absolutely hilarious, all the walkarounds they have to do to try and like hide the fact that they're a gay couple. And Gene Hackman does not realize anything because he would never, that would never happen.
Yeah,
you know?
he's a conservative Republican candidate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
congressman. He's
Congressman.
like a current congressman.
I think he's
And
running for election, which is
I
like
think, yeah,
or re-election or
Re-election,
something. He might be
something like
doing
that.
re-election, but I know he's
Mhm.
going against somebody
yeah.
because like the guy that he's running with gets like caught with like a hooker or something like that.
I think he's
Yeah.
part of the coalition for conservative parenting or something. So he gets caught with a like an underage hooker.
Oh, it's so great. It's so fantastic.
hysterical, and just the lengths these people have to go to try and hide their life. And then it's of course the
Yes.
whole, the message of us all is don't hide yourself, be yourself. However you want to have a family, that's fine as long as you love them and support them.
Mhm.
Everything is going to turn out in the end. And it's full of fantastic acting moments, hysterical comedy, singing. The best of Broadway is in this movie. Here's some of the actors that are in it. Hold on. You got Robin Williams, Gene Hackman, Nathan Lane, Diane West, Dan Futterman, Callista Flockhart. This is her first movie, I think. Hank
Might have been, yeah.
Azaria, Christine Baranski, Tom McGowan. So many just like fantastic faces that are true talents of the stage and screen have come together in this movie.
Hank
They have
Azaria
come
as the butler.
Attigor Spartacus.
Attigor
so great.
Spartacus.
Yeah.
Attigor Spartacus. Attigor
Or
Spartacus.
is he like the clean? Isn't he,
He
like
likes
the
his full
cleaner?
name.
The cleaning.
He's
person?
their
Yes.
like houseboy
Yeah, the
in like little
houseboy.
shorty shorts.
Yes.
He doesn't wear shoes.
I love it when he goes, "Come on, Gloria, let's
Yeah,
go.
come on,
Let's
Gloria."
Gloria."
Let's go. Come on, let's do that conga. It's so funny.
And then I
the
love when
best.
Robin Williams is talking to him and he's like, make sure you get all the food ready, blah, blah, blah. And then he walks away and the son is like looking at him. He's like, you do know how to cook, right? And he's like, your
father seems to think so.
It's the best.
It's so funny.
What is their last name that they always mix up?
Goldman?
or Coleman?
Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman or Goldman?
Goldman. The G is silent.
Yeah, it's both, actually.
Yeah, they can't get their story straight because a lot of other characters come in and kind of mess up everything.
Mhm.
And I just think it's a great example of what a
Mhm.
different kind of family can be, and how
Totally.
you don't necessarily have to be, the nuclear mother, father, 2.5 kids and a dog. You can have love and companionship at whatever age and
Yeah.
whatever.
This is
gender.
pretty progressive too.
It
for
was
its
for the
time.
Very
90s.
much.
And
Hell
even
yeah.
before that, La Caja Falls as a stage play.
Uh-huh.
And so
And it's
Mhm.
kind of nice.
like it's believable. Like I believe that Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are a gay couple living in Miami.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like they
who have
are. They
been-
nail it.
Yeah, absolutely. Who
Nah,
are
wrong.
completely
Yeah.
in love and they're
Well,
partners.
they probably do.
And I just loved all the costumes. I loved
Yep.
the end scene when Gene Hackman is himself in drag to hide from the cameras to get out. That's like peak comedy for me. Is this like that's what I want to happen in real life.
Yeah.
This is the beautiful ending to a story that I want to happen, is that a conservative Republican guy who's like unaccepting of anything realizes the error of his ways and is like, you know what, it's actually all right, and then gets to do drag himself and has a
Yes.
nice time and wants to be a pretty lady.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's the goal of your life.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Maybe that can happen
Maybe.
Maybe.
one day. One day. ladies
Yeah,
and
but-
One
gentlemen.
day.
I agree. It tells a great story about how it is possible to have two dads
Yeah.
or two moms in this and still
Mhm.
be wonderful parents.
Yeah.
And then you have this Republican congressman who
Uh-huh.
comes from a completely different aspect of the world and coming in there and kind
Yeah.
of, by the end realizing of acceptance and
Mhm.
understanding.
Mhm.
And just the entire movie along this story is just hysterical.
Mhm.
It is just yeah, your abs will hurt after this. Your stomach's gonna hurt
It's so funny.
because it just makes you laugh the entire time. It's
Mhm.
so great.
It is so
Yeah.
great. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is so great. We took you from Justice League, then we linked it to movies with teams. We did Major League as well as the replacements off of Major League. Jared linked it to a movie where a character can't see without glasses, and that was My Girl, as well as movies with misfit team ups. And that was something else that I'm forgetting.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
A true underdog story.
From the replacements, Stacey and I linked it to Gene Hackman films. I did Enemy of the State, and she did The Birdcage. So that
7 for
sums
you.
us up.
Oh, you get a bonus one.
Yeah.
Woo!
Mhm.
Yeah, because we take one film and show how 6 other films link up
Yeah,
to it.
it's-
So that's why
Oh, okay.
7 in
No
total.
bonus then, never
Yes,
mind.
yes. But now, Stacey, do you already have your
Who knows?
Better with Rocky?
No, I
Okay,
really
well,
don't.
while you are looking that up, because Stacey's going to do her Better with Rocky in just a moment for Justice League.
Oh.
But before that, I'm going to link it to Kevin Bacon because 6 Degrees of Feature Film, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. So Kevin Bacon was in Beyond All Boundaries with Jesse Eisenberg, who was in Justice League.
Yes, and Batman v Superman.
I mean,
And he's in everything.
he's in everything, right?
Kevin Bacon. Wait, what was Kevin Bacon in? With
Kevin Bacon
Jesse
was in
Eisenberg?
Beyond All Boundaries.
Oh.
I've never heard of it,
Yeah, I don't know
but
that one
that's
either.
what it told me. So
Very cool.
therefore, yes.
What's your favorite Kevin Bacon role?
Oh gosh, probably Footloose. Oh, you know what? I really liked him in The River Wild. Actually, have you seen The River Wild
I
with
love
Meryl Streep? Yes.
Oh, totally. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say Hollow Man. I'm kidding. I was not gonna say Hollow Man.
Oh.
No, not the scene where they
No.
throw the blood on the floor.
Yeah, it's a
Walking
very
around the
I
interesting
like, I
sorry,
liked
movie.
From that.
X-Men First Class.
Oh, he's
Also.
great in that.
Also.
He's good in
He's
that.
so good in that.
Sebastian Shaw. Is that his name
Sebastian
next to
Shaw,
First Class?
absolutely.
Okay, I have one.
Okay,
I'm
great.
gonna need your help with this, Jared.
Perfect.
So we're
I'm
gonna
here to help.
we're gonna do a cold read right now. All right.
Love it.
So get your acting skills out. This
So-
is our
Van Damme.
quote. You're playing Bruce Wayne. I'm gonna be Barry Allen as
Brought the perfect shirt.
the Flash as Rocky. That's
As
me.
Rocky.
Okay.
Yes.
as
So you're
Would
Bar-
Justice League be better
You're
with
Bruce
Sylvester Stallone as Rocky as the Flash?
Yeah.
Performed by Stacey Howard.
Yes. So you're Bruce Wayne
Okay.
and I'm Barry Allen. So start right there.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to do my best Bruce Wayne.
Do it.
All right. I'm putting together a team of people with special abilities. See, I believe enemies are coming.
Stop right there, I'm in.
You are? Just like that?
Yeah, I need friends.
Agreed.
Can I keep this? There you go.
Yay! Nice job. That was
Yeah.
great.
That was my
Excellent.
That's your
impression.
Rocky. Can you do
That
a
was
Yo
excellent.
Adrian for me?
Yo, Adrian!
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You were like, I thought I was in the presence of
It-
Rocky
it's
Balboa
like
right there.
we're
You are.
in. It's like we're in Philly. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Mhm, mhm.
We are in Philly. Jared, thank you
Running
so much
for
for
our
joining us.
Thank you for having me, ladies.
Where
This was
can
great.
everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Haibon_Jared, or on Instagram at Jared Haibon. My name.
Haibon.
Yes, JaredHaibon.
Perfect. Stacey?
That's me.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and in Snapchat at Stacey O Howard. No E, no I, just Y. I got it.
Beautiful.
I finally got
Beautiful.
the phrase.
I
that
love it.
Rhymes with the thing. It's like a whole shtick. I
Yeah,
got
that
it. All right.
flowed perfectly.
Yeah. Miss Movies, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Miss Movies, Instagram Miss_movies. And tomorrow I have Bald Brian of the Adam Carolla Show on Film Therapy. So you can
Cool.
check that out here. Yay. Good
Awesome.
times. All right. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank
We
you.
will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.